Get it?
Across America.
Damn it.
Scene 1, take 2, and action.
Hello?
Hey, that's not the line.
Oh.
Ladies
sorry.
and gentlemen,
That's your line.
episode 34, Across America.
Man. So
Jack
many.
Austin.
Yeah. What's my name?
Robert Lambe.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who did the thing that you want to find out about. So, I mean, I don't know why you're talking to me.
Why are you here?
I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people ask that. What is that idiot doing?
What's his inclusion? Like, what's his purpose to all this?
Yeah,
But it's to do what you're doing.
That's what all the people in listener world are doing at their dinner tables when they do their nightly discussions of our podcasts.
I've never been to Listener World. Is that like a new extension of Disney?
No, it's for people who don't do the recording and do the listening.
Oh.
You idiot.
So everybody.
Yeah.
Besides us two.
Right.
Sweet. Okay. What am I doing?
That makes this side of it real lonely.
Yeah, it does. All right. Where did I leave off?
You left off, you were...
Oh, no. I know. Don't even answer. I got this. But go ahead. Where did I leave off, Jack?
No.
No, I want to hear what you're...
I want to hear you.
I want to hear what you were going to say.
All right, so I have nothing to say of value when it comes to where you were.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching this podcast. They do live on Twitch, and they talk about it. So I guess it's kind of a talk show.
Right.
And they play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay.
And it reminded me of one of our other podcasts,
Which one?
Chair of Swords.
Oh, yeah.
You goofy bastard.
Which we haven't done in a while.
We haven't.
No. We will, though.
Yeah, we will.
We will. We'll get back to
Okay,
it.
guys?
Oh, yeah. So,
You were walking through Mexico.
It was the Dangerous Dogs.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
The
that was the
police
title.
Officer. I laughed
one.
at that when I... Episode 33, Dangerous Dogs. I was like, what?
Exactly. That was outside of Mount...
I
was heading to Mountain City
And
after
that was the name of the gang you ran into while you were going through Amish Town.
Right.
And they were mad at you because you had your iPod in.
Well, again, let's clarify. When you say Amish Town, that was just the name of the town. There were no Amish people there.
What?
There were no, it was just the name of the town.
I guess we're making stuff up now.
Yeah, well, you started it.
I did.
So-
Touche.
Anyways, I was heading towards Mound City, which, again, I think it's just a town. It wasn't that big. But after that, after that day, I wanted to head to a campsite in St. Joseph. I saw that there's a campsite. It was 39 miles away, and I thought, you know what? I can make it. I can make that in one day. 39 miles, I can do it. Little did I know that I was about to experience probably the worst day of walking that day. So that was a very bad assumption on my part. But I left pretty early from like outside of Mound City and headed for St. Joseph. I couldn't walk on the interstate, and the interstate went diagonal to St. Joseph. So I had to take like these side roads along the interstate. And sometimes they deviated like quite a bit. So I think it added even more than the 39 miles that I thought, because I was just Google mapping it. And I don't remember if I told you this story, but I know I didn't mention it on here yet. But there was a section of land that was like, it was like forest, but then it went into like country roads. And as I was going through the country roads, and it was all farmland, this guy drove up next to me, and he just said, hey, like, how's it going? I told him what I was doing. He goes, oh, well, how come you're going this way? I go, well, I can't walk on the interstate, and I'm already heading this route. So, like, there's really no other roads to go on. I'm trying to find just the fastest route to get to St. Joseph. So he was like, well, you're heading down a pretty rough stretch.
Yeah, I think you did tell me about that.
I think I told you. I don't think I mentioned it on here, though, because we didn't get to this point yet.
Because I thought it was much earlier on in your walk.
Right, no, this was in Missouri. This was pretty bad. So I was like, all right, well, what's it called? Or he goes, it's called Monkey Mountains. And he's like, you're heading towards it right now. And it's a stretch of road that people live, like, I mean, it is forested area, but it goes up and down, and it's just a gravel road that goes up and down, up and down, up and down for like miles. And I was like, oh, I'm like, is it really going to be that hard? He said, well, you have your cart there, and he's like, a lot of people wouldn't go just trekking along it because it's going to be really tiring. I was like, well, I'm not going to backtrack now. I'm too far. There's no other roads. He's like, yeah, you'd have to backtrack a few miles that way and then cut over again. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'm just going to go through it. He's like, all right, well, good luck. I live that way. He's like, you have to have a certain type of truck to get up it and everything like that. I'm like, oh, God. So I'm like, all right, that's fine, whatever. So I pushed on because I'm like, nope, I'm going to make it to this campsite. I'm going to make it to St. Joseph. And when I got to it, it was like drastic change in landscape. It was flat farmland, and then all of a sudden I hit this stretch, and it just goes almost, and I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but from my memory, it was almost like straight up road.
Right.
So I'm like, shit. I'm like, well, all right, I can do this. So I start pushing my cart up. And I can't even get the cart up. It just won't go up the road. It's too heavy. I'm trying to push it up this hill. I'm just like, I can't do it. And it's gravel, so like the wheels are like knocking around, like the front wheels, like just scraping down. I'm like, this sucks. So I go, all right, how am I going to get up here? So I went in front of the cart, grabbed the front tire, and start just like lugging it up this hill. I get to the top. I'm like, holy shit, that sucked. And then I just see like hills, just like at least a mile of hills.
To
I go,
paint the
oh
picture,
my God.
it's just like you're up at the top of this hill after that strenuous exercise of getting the. Not to mention that you've obviously been walking over 30 miles a day.
Yeah.
And going crazy.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking of this mile-long stretch, and you're looking out, and all you're seeing is peaks of these hills redundantly for about a mile.
Yeah.
And, you know...
Only a mile at that point that I saw.
It doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's a mile, and you look, damn, that's a long way.
Well, and I looked it up because I wrote it down in my blog, and I wanted to see how long it actually was, and it was 6 miles. So it was 6 miles of this.
Yeah.
And I remember... 6 miles should have only taken me maybe 2 hours to walk through or whatever. This stretch probably took me 5 hours. Like, it probably doubled it.
Yeah.
And I remember what I would do is I would grab the front of the cart because there was no way I could, like, push it up. My wheels would just slide and stuff. So I would grab onto the cart, and I'd literally, some of the hills, I'd be grabbing the ground and trying to like pull myself up with my hand and my sneakers, like trying to dig into the dirt.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go off the road because it was all like woods and like it just kind of like descended like.
And were the woods the exact same thing?
Yeah, it was like uphill. It was all leaves and like branches and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can't even get through that stuff.
There wasn't any grass for you to dig into.
Nothing.
Yikes.
So I was like, yeah, this is rough. So I remember every time I'd get to the top of one of the hills, I would just kind of sit there, take a breather, and then like go do it again. But when I would go down the hill, it was actually kind of scary because I'd have to get my cart and like put it in front of me and then kind of like slide down with it.
Down, yeah.
And it would pull me. And I remember there were some times where I was like sliding down, almost like scraping the ground with like my back as like the wheels are just taking me down this hill.
Yeah.
And I just did that for, I guess, 6 miles is what it was. And it took forever. I remember when I finished, there were also some houses like in the area too. Yeah. Which was, I thought was weird
and
that they were up there.
They were sitting out there looking at you,
just
like,
watching.
Look at this moron.
Dude, I only
look
saw...
at this idiot. I bet he's walking across the country.
Dude, I saw one guy in a truck and he just drove by. I think he just waved to me and that was it. He didn't say anything. He just drove by.
Enjoy your walk, stupid.
But when I got through there, I will say that I was like really happy I got through there. I'm like, all right, that took way longer than I wanted it to. Do I still have time to get to this campsite? And I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get there, like, pretty late at night. I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to do it, because I'm stubborn, and when I set my mind to something, I do it, unless it's just really too hard, then I don't do it. But I think I could have done it. I could have done it. So I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it there. I'm just going to keep going. Let me just rest for, like, 20 minutes. And then I was, like, starving. So I I found like this post. It was like a fence or whatever along the gravel road after Monkey Mountains, and I was sitting on it, and I remember I was like eating raviolis, and this lady just like drives by and gives me like the weirdest look. Like I'm just like sitting on the side. She didn't say anything. She just drove really slowly by me and just like kind of like gave me the stink eye as she drove by. I'm like, hi.
Hello.
That's it. She just kept going.
I'm sorry you don't have your own personal chef to make you meals.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're admiring my
Chef Boyardee.
I think it was.
It had to have been.
It was the meat, because I would get Chef Boyardee, or I would get like raviolis and all those canned things every once in a while because they were heavier. But I would get them whenever I went to like a Dollar General or something like that, because they'd always be like really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
What's the knockoff brand that you learned to love on your route?
Because of anything,
what's like
or
something
just
you
that one?
won't find at the grocery store, but you saw a lot in the rural areas along your way?
No, a lot of it was pastries.
Oh, really? Because I was like, you have Dr. Pepper and Pepsi,
that's true. I did.
And then you see that, and it's like there's Dr. Thunder.
Yeah, Dr. Thunder.
And all the other, was it Mountain Mist instead of
Mountain Dew.
Instead of Mountain Dew.
Or Sierra Mist.
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever, either one. It's like
they're all mystery cans.
No, there was a lot of that stuff, like a lot of opera, especially like in Dollar Generals, like in small towns. It was like weird, just
and they look
off-brand
at you
stuff.
like you're crazy. Why don't you take some Whispering Thunder?
No. Dude, I told you when I would go into some of those stores, there'd just be like a full or like a shelf that ran along the wall, and it'd have like maybe like 10 items on it. And I was like, this is weird. I don't want to take the last ravioli can. What if somebody needs it here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what if somebody else is walking across the country?
I'm saying like somebody who lives there. Maybe they go there and they're like, I hope we got that shipment of 1 can of ravioli today because I'm starving.
Yeah.
And then he goes there and it's like sold out.
Damn you, wallet guy.
It's always wallet guy. He always does that. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He brings people's wallets back, but God damn it, if he doesn't take the last ravioli.
Sanford was stocking the shelves earlier. Put the last can of ravioli up there. That means wallet guy can't be too far off.
Can you imagine, like, they're getting, like, a shipment of food, like, for their little convenience store, and it's, like, one ravioli, can of ravioli.
Can you imagine a semi-truck gassing up and driving from Milwaukee, and all he's doing is dropping off 1 can of ravioli?
One can of, like, 1 6-pack of beer, like, 2 sodas, 2 liters.
Here you go.
That's it. There you go. It's just a box. It's just a box.
Back to Minneapolis I go. He's got his family in the truck.
Dude, some of those places, like, I imagine that's what it's like.
Yeah.
They can't be getting big shipments of anything.
No, there's no point.
I don't even think any of the places I went into had fruit.
Yeah.
Like, they just had, like,
they bring him like a whole box of ravioli. He's like, what do you think this is, New York City?
We're going to need 2 years till we sell all those.
We only get 7 walkers a month.
Yeah. Where was I? I don't remember. Oh, crazy lady driving by. So after that, I actually was like, I can make it to St. Joseph because it wasn't that far. I knew it was going to be late at night, and I was like, but I can still make it. The problem was I still couldn't I couldn't get on any main roads. So I'm taking all these like back roads, just like through, which is probably not the smartest thing to do when you're walking across the country. You want to stay on like the busier roads and stuff.
In screaming distance.
Right. So I'm taking all these like back roads to get like through like neighborhoods and just like not like typical, not like the suburbs. It's like backwoods kind of stuff, some of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going through there, going on dirt trails. Finally, like, I kind of messed up my tire too, like the front tire, so I knew I was going to have to get that fixed. But
I wonder what did that.
I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. I think I was sabotaged by a ravioli lady.
Ooh, you think so?
I think so. I think when I was eating the ravioli, she parked her car, came over, kicked my tire.
Pretty sure it might have been the antelope.
I don't think he leaves his Wyoming home. I think after Wyoming, he's staying put. You know what I mean?
Okay. The Gatalope.
The Gatalope.
That's right.
But when I did, I remember it was probably like 9 o'clock at night. It was like completely dark. I'm like, I only got 2 more miles. I can make it. I'm gonna make it to the spot. So I'm like going, and I can hear the like interstate in the distance. I'm like walking by like this factory like in the background. Like I can just see it in the background as I'm walking
in Chernobyl.
Like yeah, that it looked like it. Kind of. There's like huge smokestacks and like it's eerie and all quiet. And then like I remember I took this one dirt road like towards the interstate. I knew I was like coming up on it, and then there's just like it was like late at night, no one's around. Even the interstate is like maybe I hear a car like every once in a while, and then this truck like drives out like from like behind these trees, and then starts like coming towards me. I'm like, hopefully it's okay.
And now's the time.
Hopefully it's okay.
It's right now when I die.
Yeah. I always wonder that. Like, it's just so easy that like anybody could have just went like, oh hey, bam.
Well, bye.
Kept driving.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you know, I figure most people aren't serial killers, so I was okay. But anyway, they drove up and
1 out of 5.
Yeah, that's what studies show. But when he drove up, it was like these two guys, like rednecky guys, and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to get to this campsite," and they're just like, they're like kind of like iffy, like they're like iffy about me. I mean, they were like asking me questions like, why are you on these roads? Like, why are you here? And it's kind of dark, like it's late. And I'm like, I know.
A lot of history down that road.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm trying to make it to this campsite. They're like, oh, all right, well, that campsite, yeah, it's just around the bend and you only got like another mile or so. I'm like, all right, cool. And then they just drove off. And then I ended up.
That's all they wanted to know.
That's it.
Where
they just
you
wanted
going,
to know
boy?
what I was doing.
We're going over to this campsite.
I mean, it's got to be weird for them too, right? Like just a stranger with a cart in the backwoods. Like, I mean, I was on like a road that was like 1 lane dirt road behind a bunch of houses and factories and stuff like that. It was weird.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they were like, what the hell is this guy? Maybe they thought I had a dead body like in my cart. You never know. Like I could be a crazy murderer. I'm not though, but I could be. 1 in 5. But yeah, after that, I had to cross, there was like a cross street that went over the interstate. So I got on that, went over there, and I made it to that campsite at 10:30 at night. And I started pretty early in the daytime, like right when the sun came up. Finally made it there, and my legs were killing me. I remember I didn't even set up my tent right away. I went to like a picnic table and just laid down on the picnic table and just stayed there for a while. And a cat showed up, and I pet the cat for a while.
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
just kind of relaxed because I was exhausted from that day.
Freaking bet.
That was probably the worst day. Well, I won't say one of the worst days of walking. I remember after I finished that whole, or no, not even finished. Like I got like halfway through the mountains or whatever. Like I remember thinking to myself, this is the first time where I'm like having doubts about this walk because it just
Monkey
sucked
Mountains?
so much. Yeah,
It took you all the way to Missouri?
Yeah, so that's not too bad, right?
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
I mean, I made it all the way there, and I made it halfway across the country, and that's when I was like, you know what? Screw this walk. but I powered through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta do it sometimes.
Proud of you, bud.
Thanks, man. It means a lot. That's it.
That's it.
That's
all
it.
right.
I mean-
Ladies and gentlemen, episode 34 of The Walk, the Monkey Mountains.
You think
if it isn't titled Monkey Mountains,
well,
I'm going to freak out.
Of course it's gonna be titled Monkey Mountains. There's no other title for this one.
Yeah, no, that was really good.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, we love you. Literally love you.
Okay. This has been a Seven Lamb production.